a small percentage white, more, until I get almost pure white with a little bit of yellow ochre. Okay. Shall I lift this up? Can you see it?
Yeah, can you see it? Very nice, yes.
Okay. So that is called a string of color. So basically you could almost imagine 100% to 0% if you want to divide it up. Then I do the same with my burnt sienna. Now, take into account that all people have reddish and yellowish skin tone. Whether you're black, whether you're pink, whether you're Chinese, whether you're white, everybody has got yellow and pink in them. It's just a variety of how dark and how light it is. So now I'm going to do the... I didn't do this with you guys last time, did I?
No.
Okay. I just talked about it.
You spoke about it,
Yeah.
yes.
This is my main mix. In between these, I've got a mixed mix. So look there. Now I've got warm going to cooler. I've got warm going to darker. Can you see that? And in between here, I can say I've got a yellow ochre that goes into a red. Can you see that? So now in between all of this, I've got midtones everywhere. Okay, so now I start adding that. It will show me where it's ready or where it's yellow. Can you see that is sort of very yellowy there? That's very ready there. Okay. And that's my dark. So essentially I'm working with very dark, really dark, and yellowy. Which is my lighter color. So now I'm going to still focus only on dark and light. So I've already put in dark with my first layer. Now I'm going to reinforce my dark again by still painting a very thin, almost watery layer, more like a glaze. I'm using my darkest dark, which is my burnt umber. And I'm going to reinforce my dark. So there's a dark. So this is my, now I'm adding a little bit more detail. Okay, so now I'm putting my darkest darks. Everywhere I see my darkest darks. Can you see it's still very loose, if I can call it that. Now obviously if I use a hogseed brush, I'll get more texture. I'll go over to that just now. So for now, I like the fact that this brush gives me a lot of control. And I'm just working with basic shapes, can you see? I'm not really too fussed about it being 100% accurate. All you want is you want to start getting that all painting is just dark and light. And later on we add hot and cold. But dark and light is the secret of painting. If you can focus just on the dark and the light, you can paint anything. Okay? You see. Sometimes I leave even this, like I'll finish a lot of the painting here and I'll leave this quite rough sometimes.
In the completed picture.
Yeah, because it gives it interest. Thin. So now I'm really looking at the darkest areas of my painting, the darkest darks. Because even in the dark, you've got highlight, midtone, and base tone. So now I'm looking at the darkest dark of my painting. And I'm only adding the Paynes Grey to the darkest dark.
But your mixture is still quite...
Very watery.
Watery.
Very thin.
Okay.
Because the thing with painting is you always want to work fat over lean, meaning lean has to be first. If you go too thick too soon, the paint will crack later. So you have to stay thin. People are too hasty to go thick. It's lovely to go thick. Everybody wants to go thick. But then you run into problems. Because now how do you fix what you need to fix if you've done it wrong? So the thick should come at the point where you are reassured and you know that your painting is working. Because we haven't even really started painting yet. This is the building blocks. This is the foundation of the painting we're putting in here. If I have the foundation, it's like building a house. If my foundation is strong, then my house will stand. If my foundation is not strong, my house is not going to stand. So it's the same principle. You see, I'm not putting the blue, the Paynes Grey everywhere. I'm just putting it where I see the darkest dark. So if you squint your eyes, it should already look quite three-dimensional. I'm really focusing on the darkest darks. The other thing is, what you need to take into account is you need to take into account, once you've got the building blocks later on, if I have light, I want dark next to it. So here is going to be a light section here. So I'm going to really make this piece nice and dark here. Because that's going to stand out. You see, I'm quite loose. Some people like to start really tight and really accurate. From my experience, what I've noticed is when you start like that, almost like a computer, everything is in focus. And in real life, everything is not in focus. And in a painting, you have to tell the person what the most important part of the picture is. So if I do everything the same, what's going to be the most important? The most important part. What is the story I'm telling? In this guy, the story is probably going to be around about the eye, that eye. That's going to be the focus eventually there, because it shows his life. It shows that he's had a tough life. So personally, I prefer starting very loose and then tightening it up as I'm going. That's just my personal preference. It's not saying that it's right or wrong, and it's not saying it's wrong to go detail immediately. It's just, from my experience, it works better. It works for me. Becoming a little bit more, not so loose. It's still loose, can you see? But it is, I'm sort of really looking at where it is.